Thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Daniel. I'm the founder of Tiny Rig, and today we're going to walk you guys through this Ineos Grenadier that we just wrapped up. We're a off-road shop in Southern California known for our attention to detail, electrical installs, and high-quality work. This particular build, we did a lot of electrical work too, as well as some suspension. Lots of little details. Some of the products that we now make and are going to release in the future are in this build, so let's walk you guys through it. So we do a fair amount of work on Grenadiers. We actually have 4 of them here in the shop right now. And typically we're doing full builds, roof conversions. In this case, Vincent had already done a fair amount of stuff to his vehicle on his own. Super capable guy of being able to pretty much do anything, just kind of limited on time. But also he's a really sharp engineer and has a very high attention to detail himself. So picking a shop to do these projects, him and I had multiple conversations and walkthroughs, and ultimately he decided to allow us to work on his vehicle. So he's already done some cool stuff to it, and we're just going to point some of those things out that we do here as well. So up front, GP Factor bull bar. This is a product that's made in the USA, very similar to the factory design that you might see on the Ineos bull bar, but available here and readily available. Basic install, takes about an hour or so. You've got mounting locations all into factory points, no drilling, solid powder coating on it. And there's actually a new product coming out for the center of it that is going on my vehicle, which you guys will see probably in about a month or so. It'll be displayed. Over here, we've got Agile Off-Road's XL80 kit. Really good use of that space. He's got clear lights here and a combo pattern with an amber lens cover. It's probably what I would run on mine. Other than that, up front, a couple details that I think are pretty cool. He's got the hood wrapped black with the green. It looks really nice. Cuts down glare, but also just nice contrast, especially with the diamond plate up here. Under the hood, he's also got a few super parts, just some billet caps and a couple of other things he's looked at. And Vincent's he could tell he's a researcher. There's a lot of little nuggets in this thing that I won't be able to get to, but I can genuinely say he's got stuff that I didn't even know existed. You can tell he's super passionate about it, which is pretty cool. Tires, he's got some BFG KO3s on it. Size-wise, it fits the vehicle really well, and he likes them. So we do a lot of Mickey Thompsons over here. We've got other vehicles we can kind of show you guys what that looks like. But with the suspension that we did on it, which Vincent brought us the Konis, he pre-adjusted them for us, has them at his setting. And it's one of those things where if you read the reviews, people kind of say, get it to where you like it. And you might have to take them off multiple times to get them to that point. It's not as easily adjustable like a set of Kings or Foxes. Coil-wise, we ended up doing iBox Eurospec coils. It's a 1.7 and a 1.2 inch lift, very conservative. That's the one that we're running on most of our vehicles here. I do have a set of Dobinson coils going on our shop vehicle to test and kind of see how that works out. They are a higher capacity. But the stance of this vehicle with the tire size, the factory Steelies, or a set of methods like we have over there ends up looking really, really nice. So on the suspension, guys, there's obviously driveline issues that most of you watching this video are probably aware of. If you're an enthusiast and you're okay with taking the chance of having Ineos not warranty some of the driveline stuff, then by all means install a lift. If you come here to us, I'm going to tell you that basically, they're having all kinds of issues. I also do have a friend that has 65,000 miles on his 2024 Grenadier, and he's gone through multiple boots and has no lift. So I'll leave that with you guys to kind of sit on. As far as I'll point out some of the accessories as we go through that are pretty cool. So he's got the visors over here for the windows. Something I've never ran on a vehicle, but I know a lot of people like. He's running some Agile sliders. And then on the inside of the vehicle, let's jump into kind of what he's got going on in here. All right, so on this side, it might be a little hard to see, but we've got a USB port. It's a USB-A and a USB-C connector that's mounted behind the Agile grab handle. We routed the wires through there to some fusing, and that's going to give you 70 watts of USB-C power. So if you're running any large devices or want to charge something quickly, it does a great job of doing that. And it's located in a place where you can buy a 1 foot cable and not have cables everywhere, which is big for me and the way that we've tried to build these out. That agile grab handle is something that we've done on another vehicle before as well. We mounted a Garmin tread to it. Something that's available through us if you'd like us to have that installed for you. Next is going to be the Tiny RigCo Ultimate Device Mount. So that's a factory trim replacement. There's no drilling involved unless you want to route cables kind of the easiest way. And the drilling that's involved is quite simple, behind the rail, something you're never going to see, but it's going to allow you to route more cables through than if you don't drill. In this case, we're not running a 67 Designs rail, we're just running the mount itself. He has an iCOM radio on there. It's a very large screen that is magnetic and good access to it. And this is all, you know, as far as radio selection, it kind of comes down to what you want. That's a really nice radio with a beautiful large screen, but it's also magnetic, which is really nice. So you could remove it if you needed. You could also disconnect it from the vehicle if you're not using it so that it's not a shiny device to steal. On this side, and if you've seen the device rail previously, it didn't have this 1/4 thread over here. Over here is a great spot for your handheld. So we did a magnetic mic over here, and then we've got 1/4 magnets that thread in to it, so you don't need to drill any holes for the magnetic mic. The default, we'll call it back magnet that it comes with, requires 2 holes, which doesn't fit well in that area. This is an oversized magnet, so it kind of gives you more margin for error, but the feel of it is extremely similar to what you get with the magnetic mic. So just a cool little touch that we like. Cable routing wise, we've got the cable somewhat tucked into that rail over there. The magnet is holding it in place. And then over here, we actually have a USB-C cable that's coming through the cable management port that you can plug into a phone. He previously had another device mount right here that has some balls on it that'll end up getting transferred over to this unit, and we're gonna let him place those himself because he is very particular. Over here as well, he's got the agile handles with the ability to mount different devices. And in the past, we've mounted USB ports over here on this side, so that's an option too. We could do it on both, in both locations, so that you have fewer wires. Up top, we did the Wolfbox mirror with the 67 Designs mount. There is no cover on it right now. He's got that at home. He had taken it off to see if he wanted to do the project himself. Or actually, no, he thought he had a leak up there through the Safari window, so he had pulled it off to just kind of take a closer look. He's also got these sun visors that are very, very nice. Molly plates up here from our RE, this over here from our RE, and we do the Molly plates and we do the visor as well. Lots of just, like I said, lots of little stuff. Center consoles, all different. He's got the start-stop button, the park assist buttons on there. Just tons of little things. For his XL80s, he's got the foot pedal up here. He's got Alu-Cab handles. Lots of knickknacks, basically. So just cool to see it all. Different little light setup up here, which that's actually a project that we're gonna work on is in this location, we've got some dome lights we're gonna end up doing. We've got some cool stuff coming for this truck. So if you guys like the work you see, like the quality of the parts, just subscribe to our email list on our website, and then follow us on social media, and you'll see the updates probably more frequently through social media than the e-blasts. Let's dive into the guts of what we did in the back and show you guys what's going on there. And then before we jump to the back, there is a brake controller, trailer brake controller through Redarc that we've installed over there. Toggle switch located where he requested, but that can be placed by the parking brake as well, pretty much anywhere in the vehicle that you prefer. All right, so we're gonna start from closest to me and work our way towards you guys. So over here is the radio itself. We've got that routed, and we have it a couple places. So over here is something that Vincent thought of that's pretty epic in my opinion. So we've got a 67 Designs mount, which a lot of people are mounting fans to, and we mounted the iCOM radio speaker to it. So he's got that right behind his head. He can adjust it. When you turn the radio on, it's super clear, plenty loud, just really clever, rad way to do that. And we've routed that wiring through the pillar. Obviously it comes over here to the radio mount, which we've got bolted down very securely. Additionally, we did do an out of circuit to the fuse box for the Wolfbox. And then over here, we have the Redarc brake controller on the Agile bracket, which has a location for it. Next over here is Redarc's BCDC Alpha 50. So if you are someone who has a factory battery system, or even doesn't, you can replace the C-Tech that comes with the vehicle with this device, or you can add this if you didn't get the secondary battery. The C-Tech device actually puts out more amperage, which makes sense for an AGM battery, but doesn't have solar built into it. Once you add the solar controller to the C-Tech, you actually put out too much amperage for a really high quality lithium battery. It spits out a dumb amount of power, which works for the factory battery, does not work well with lithium, even though that device has a lithium profile that you can set it to. So this product makes a lot of sense. And here's why. In that small footprint, you have a 50 amp DC to DC charger, meaning when you're driving and voltage is high enough and your start battery is topped off, it's gonna start to send power to the lithium. You also have a solar controller built into that, and that allows you to get rid of the 2-device setup and go to a single device. It'll actually prioritize solar over alternator charging if both are available. So if you're driving down the road, you have fixed solar panels, and it's getting, let's say, 10 amps from solar, it'll only pull 40 from your alternator. Just really smart way of doing it. Additionally, there's an app that you can monitor everything on, like voltage, charge rate, solar, and then also, if your start battery dies, you can send a slow charge over a period of 10 minutes from your secondary battery back to your start battery so that you can restart your vehicle. In addition to the BCDC, we've got the Redarc 150 amp hour lithium battery. So that battery is actually manufactured by a company called SuperBee, who makes very high-end batteries, which is why the price is where it's at. It does fit essentially perfect. You need a GP Factor mounting cleat that gets mounted to it to tie the battery in all together and all edges. If you don't have a factory dual battery system, you can order the battery tie down up top, like I've done in my vehicle, and then the GP cleat, and you can get that battery into the factory location fairly simply. We've also moved the factory power switches from the primary start battery over to that battery. You'll see multiple marine rated battery fuses on there. That is the safest, most conservative way to fuse something in a vehicle or a marine application or an RV. There's essentially no unfused wire. So it's really nice that sit on those terminals, and you can go into an AutoZone, marine store, wherever, and get them if you need. With all of our work, everything gets sleeved, everything gets labeled. And then to the left of that, you've got Tiny Rig's new Garmin Powerswitch mount. So very cool device that can actually be mounted in multiple locations over there. You can also mount it in an orientation where the back of the mount that's currently facing the rear of the vehicle can be facing my direction, so driver's side. That'll give you a little bit more access to the mount, but you essentially have a negative bus bar where you can put all your negative connections to so that they're not stacked on top of your battery. You've got a Garmin Powerswitch, which is a really cool, well-done device. So if you're not familiar with the Powerswitch, because it doesn't get as much hype as the other switching systems for vehicles, it is similar to a Switch Pro, similar to an S-Pod or a Trigger. However, there is no controller to it. You control everything through your phone or Apple CarPlay. So in a vehicle like this, when you launch your screen up front, or you're trying to control lights or systems in here, it feels very factory. It also cuts down the amount of wires that you need to run. So on that same bracket, we also have a Blue Sea 4-blade fuse block. That's the perfect setup to run something like an iCOM off of. You can also run a fridge off of it. So we've got it on a 30 amp circuit. And those 30 amp circuits are going to some SAE ports that we'll show you guys in the back. But essentially all the lights that are in this vehicle can now be controlled off of that power switch, with the exception of those XL80s that he already had wired up. The power switch gives you a lot more functionality than a simple toggle switch. You do have a fail-safe on the device itself to be able to turn off and on the circuits if you need. But everything else is going to be controlled through your phone. The range is epic. It is super far, way farther than the S-Pod or Switch Pros. The app is a much better designed app. So we're really excited about that product because we love the power switch. We use it in a ton of builds over here. And if you are someone who has a Grenadier without the high auxiliary switches package, this is a really nice way to be able to add lighting to the vehicle in a really clean way that still feels very, very factory. So we'll close this up and we'll head to the back and we'll show you guys what we did. All right, so before we open the inside of the vehicle, Vincent already came to us with the S2 chase lights mounted. What we ended up doing was running wiring from those into the vehicle, not through factory switches, but to that power switch, because the power switch also has the capability to strobe your lights. So for chase lights, it's a lot nicer to have a flashing strobing pattern so that people can see you versus just having them constantly on. And then also sometimes you can blind people with a set of S2s up there. It's kind of like eye height, can hit the windshield of the vehicle behind you. And with that, you can dim those a little bit to make it comfortable for the people behind you so they can still see you. Lots of stuff going on here. He's got some cool molly plates up here, more molly plates, paper towel holder. We mounted our Wolfbox up here. This gets routed all behind, so you really only have this much wire showing. And then we've got the National Luna touch lights that we've added up here. We've also added them to the GP Factor table, which is the best table for this vehicle in my opinion. That other National Luna lights, all those wires are ran through the factory grommet over here. Nothing showing, everything still looks extremely factory. And then we also have, it's got a diabolical drawer setup here, which is a really nice option. We do goose gear in most of the vehicles. We also do buzz stuff, but this is definitely a nice option. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk over, and I'm not paired to his power switch. I'm gonna turn those lights on manually, and you guys will be able to see all the lights that we did in here and how that looks. All right, so I just walked over, pressed the button, and all of these National Luna lights have memory, which is really nice because as soon as you turn them on with your phone, everything will turn on at once. But you can independently control them all, right? And these National Lunas are really nice because they're dimmable, but you can also switch them from red to white and have them on different settings. But when you turn them back on, they return to the previous state. That's the memory aspect of it. So over here, obviously on the GP table, there's a light. You got an additional light up here. And then we ended up doing another National Luna light offset in the back. For just additional lighting back here. So that was an area under the attic that he had some trouble with. We didn't center that light because you have a tote that actually slides into here. And had we done the light in the middle, there would have been some cutoff here. So spreading it out over there allowed the beam to spread out as much as possible. And then also with having a light on the door on this side of the vehicle, you get kind of a good mix of light over there. Over here, we have SAE connections. And so we went with these versus something like an Anderson connection or a 12-volt socket because they're more robust. It's designed typically for solar connections outside of a vehicle. However, it's just simply a 12-volt connection that has a really solid connection, does not come loose. And we've got that on the other side as well, near the wheel well. And what that allows him to do is pick and choose what side of the vehicle he wants his fridge on. And if he ends up finding a home for his fridge, right now he doesn't have the fridge, he can decide if he wants to run other auxiliary devices off of it. You know, plenty of current can be pulled through those, so he's got various options for us, but everything buttons up nicely and looks fairly factory. So, guys, that's about it for this vehicle. I think we covered the majority of the work that we've did. We have Grant's Grenadier right behind me here that we're wrapping up. It's a big build, wheels, tires, suspension, lots of lights, roof conversion, fridge, interior system, healthy amount of electronics, sliders, and we'll walk you guys through that in a separate video. There's also some other Grenadier videos that we've done, but we are the shop for you if you're looking for extremely high attention to detail, an unbiased opinion on different products. There's stuff in this vehicle that I wouldn't do myself, but there is function behind them, and I'll share all that stuff with you guys. We always try to guide you guys with education, information from an unbiased perspective. There's never something that we're not going to sell you because it's just our opinion that I guess it's not the right product. We're going to educate you on all the options and tell you why we like the stuff we do, not why we don't like other stuff. So appreciate you guys watching. If you guys want to see the other videos, like I said, you can subscribe, go through the channels. There is a Grenadier playlist. And then if there are products that you're interested in for your Grenadier, but they're not on our website, give us a call. You got Noah behind the camera, Tiffany, she's in Europe right now traveling in a beautiful vehicle. And then you've got me as well if you guys need us as a resource. So thank you guys for watching and appreciate you. We'll see you guys in the next one.